Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Excellence. I'm coming at y'all with another 2K20 video. Today we got 5 shooting tips, mainly just for the greens. That's all we care about when it comes to shooting. So appreciate y'all for clicking on the video. Since you're here, go ahead and smack the like button, hit the subscribe button. It means the world to me. It means, it's free for you, but it means a lot to me. So without further ado, let's get into these 5 tips. Let me give y'all a little bonus tip. Not really on the top 5, but if you can improve your internet connection, whether it's an Ethernet cord or whatever, just do what you gotta do to improve your connection, because that helps everybody in general, not just shooting, but that just helps your overall experience. You can have more fun in the game and be more consistent. So let's get straight into the first tip. First tip that I got for y'all is warm up. Before you head to the park, before you get on the program course, the rec center, whatever your thing is, or even if it's the cages, warm up in any way you can. Don't just hop on the game and hop on the game, hop in the park, and then expect to just shoot greens. Unless you do this countless hours every day, like some of these professional YouTubers out here, things like that. Unless you're like that, you need to warm up for sure, because get on the ball machine. You see what I'm doing? Get on the ball machine, shoot a little bit, just to get the feel for your jump shot back. So that's probably the first tip. It's important, but it's the least important. So that's the first one. Knocked it out the way, and let's get straight to number 2. Tip number 2 on shooting more greens in 2K20, being more consistent. Tip number 2 is the correct badge setup. Alright, so when the game came out versus where we're at today, there's a lot of badge differences. A lot of things got nerfed, a lot of things got buffed. So the biggest thing with badge setups is understanding what kind of player you are, right? So for an example, point guard, ISO dribbler, you're gonna want, quick draw, at least gold, Hall of Fame, right? Range extender, for sure, gold, Hall of Fame. Deadeye, gold. If you're an ISO dribbler, you might not think about catch and shoot, or some of these other badges, but understand what kind of player you are. If you're more of an ISO dribbler or whatever, and you're just going to create space by yourself, depending on if you're a shot creator, you might want difficult shots on. Some people don't believe in it. I believe in it. I like it. I use it on my player personally. I might be moving away from it because my playing style is changing a little bit, but just throw on the right badges that fit with your playing style. If you're not going to be shooting deep phase, don't run deep phase. I don't think you would, but or don't run corner specialist if you're not going to be in the corner much. Or I already said catch and shoot. If you're more of an off-ball player, just throw on the slippery off-ball. Like, these badges work. I know you got mixed reviews for a lot of them. Some that everybody believes in, that I don't know why they do. Like Hot Zone Hunter definitely works, but if you don't have any hot zones, why would you run a Hall of Fame? I know guys that, or just players in general, that run Hot Zone Hunter Hall of Fame but don't have hot zones, right? So you're not really getting a boost. Now, it definitely negates the cold zones or whatever, but it doesn't give you a boost to anywhere that you don't have a hot zone, right? So if you're focused on creating these hot zones and then applying that hot zone hunter or whatever, have at it. But if you don't have any hot zones, hot zone hunter's not going to work. And that's just one badge. It's just, you put on whatever you want. You can put anything you want, but to green more consistently, you have to find the right badge setup that works for you. So I definitely recommend quick draw, range extender, green machine. Do your research on how well each badge works, and then I've got 22 potential badges, or 22 total badges. If you only have 10, or if you have 30, to each his own. But understand that the more badges the better, obviously. The more badges the better, obviously. So you have more things to activate. Some you don't even need on beyond silver. Like, if you are more of a spot up corner shooter, I know that if you're only gonna sit in the corner, you should have it on Hall of Fame. But If not, and you want to take those corner shots, you don't need it on anything past silver. You really just don't need it on anything past silver. So, just have your right badge set up, like what you would use. Volume shooter, if you're gonna shoot 5+ shots a game, definitely, on the park or pro-am or whatever, if you're gonna shoot 4 or 5+, definitely have on volume shooter, because each shot that you take, you get a shot percentage boost, and it's unlimited. You can shoot 1,000 times if that's even possible, and you get a boost each time, right? So just having the correct badge setup, understand your player. Don't throw on badges that you don't understand. Don't throw on badges that actually aren't going to benefit your player. Because at the end of the day, the reason you have badges is to boost certain aspects, situations, categories, criteria, whatever, of the game, so that way you can improve your player, and increase your green percentage. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to depend on whites, right? That's why I don't really believe too much in flexible release, because you get a boost to those whites, but you shouldn't be shooting whites anyways, right? And maybe that, my opinion, might change on that, but at the end of the day, to green more, you need to have the correct badge setup. Tip number 3 on greening more in 2K20. Tip number 3 is having a teammate that rocks floor general and or dimer. Okay, so this is more of a tip that you would give to your teammates, or whatever, if you're running with a squad and they have enough playmaking badges to spare, and you want to increase your green percentage, shoot better, shoot more consistently, be a better shooter on this game. Stop being able to sell your teammates out when you're wide open for the game winner and you shoot a full white, right? You want to convert that full to a green. So how do you do it is having a teammate that either rocks dimer or floor general. Now, I already went over these 2 badges in my last video, going over the playmaking badges for guards or whatever. So you should understand that. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. But you should understand that dimer works basically, if a teammate passes you the ball and you're open for the shot, open or not, but if you're getting ready to take that shot, you get a percentage to your shot. So it'll convert that full to a green, or that slightly early or late to a green, right? So, and the floor general gives you a +4 boost if it's on Hall of Fame. It gives you a +1 boost at each tier, and a +4 at Hall of Fame. So I gave this example in my last video. If you have a 86 open 3 and your teammate has floor general on Hall of Fame, you get a +4 boost to yourself, to every offensive stat, right? And that goes for every teammate. I think if you're running 3v3 or above, the only time you wouldn't have floor general on is if you're doing 2v2 or running the ones. So if you're doing 3v3 or above, I really recommend floor general, because you get a boost to every offensive stat, or a dimer that works more for the shots, which I recommend for if you want to green more, dimer is the way to go. If you want to just be better offensively, more consistent, floor general, right? But for the jump shot, to convert those whites to greens, those slightly to greens, dimer, have a teammate run dimer, and it's almost impossible to not green if you follow these other tips that I have listed in this video. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 on greening more in 2K20, converting those fulls, converting those slightlies to greens, being more consistent, learning how not to sell your teammates when you're playing, is shooting with a meter off. All right, this is, I'm sure you've heard it by now, but I'm just reiterating it. You get like a +5, +10% boost, 5, 10, 15, something like that, between that range. You get a shot boost for sure on shot meter off. With the shot meter off, with the shot meter off, you get a plus boost. All right, so this is a new jump shot for me, right? And I can already tell that I'm greening more just because my shot meter's off. Now, I recommend, if you're doing a new jump shot, I'm doing a new jump shot, I'm just not doing it right now. If you're doing a new jump shot, have the meter on, learn, when that green is supposed to happen, the early window and the late window of, the earliest you can release it and get a green, and the latest you can release it to get a green. And then between those two times is your green window, right? Anytime between then, you will green, like just about 100% of the time, as long as you're open or you got your correct badge set up, right? So turning your meter off does a lot for your jump shot. If you have meter on, you're gonna get a lot of fulls, a lot of slightlys, this and that. But having your meter off, it kind of just takes away that. It doesn't take away the slightly early or late. You can definitely get them for sure, but the window is much larger. You can get your timing down better, and I'll explain that more in tip number 5. Alright, so we're on the ball machine. Tip number 5 is understanding cues and understanding the simplicity of a jump shot. It's not as complicated as what everybody makes it. So let's just attack with what cues are. So a cue is right where you're supposed to release the jump shot. Alright, boom. Right when that elbow bends, I'm releasing the ball. That's called an early window. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of zoomed out. A late window is right when that ball gets to my head. That's the furthest back I can release that jump shot and still get a green, right? So whatever jump shot you got, you may not have a 2-motion jump shot. You may have like more of a Steph Curry upper release. Who else? I mean, if you're rocking Lonzo or maybe Chris Paul or somebody where it's kind of like one motion, it may not go behind your head or above your head. But my jump shot goes behind my head, so I understand that I have 2 cues. Right when the elbow bends at that 90-degree angle or whatever, I'm releasing the ball, right? That's the earliest window. That's the earliest time I can release it and still get a green release. I worked on my jump shot on this one, not for too long, but these upper releases for a while now. So I understand when the earliest is I can release and when the latest is. So that's called a cue, right? And especially with the last tip that I gave you, having your meter off, that's how you're going to be able to time your jump shots, is by watching your player and understanding when you need to release the ball. Also, you need to understand that different game modes have different types of latency. Whether you're on Park, Pro-Am, all the rest of them, whatever, you're going to have different types of latency, right? How much the game is kind of delayed, or when you press a button, how long does it take from when you press it until the action actually occurs, right? So you look at the cue of your my player, whatever you find your cue, right, of your jump shot, and you practice hitting that exact cue over and over and over again. You go all the way to that bonus or that tip number 1 that I gave earlier in the video of warming up. You just warm up with that cue, boom, 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 over and over and over again. And you're not going to green every time. You can't green every shot, no matter what you have. I watched a video on a guy that had like a modded controller or something like that, where it timed the jump shot perfect every time. But 2K is not going to give it to you every time, no matter what. Overall, you have 99 3-point. You're not going to get it every time. You will miss every now and then, right? But understanding a cue and how simple jump shots can be, if you break it down, then you will increase the consistency that you will get greens. You'll make it more often, and you'll be able to make whites more often as well. So that's tip number 5, is understanding the cue of your jump shot. You see right there, after I see that elbow bend, green, elbow bend, green, elbow bend, green. And with cues, you'll actually understand before you even get the feedback on your shot. You'll understand if you released it too early or late. Like, I think I have a jump shot here in a minute, or maybe before that, I released it a little too early or a little too late, and I could tell before I even got the feedback or even see if the shot went in or not. Right there, I know I released it too late. Not because I didn't get the green animation, but because I waited until the ball was already about to get released before I actually let go of square or whatever. So understand the cue, understand when you're supposed to release the ball off of your player. I'll be having a jump shot video coming up real soon, maybe tomorrow or the day after, probably tomorrow, on a new jump shot that I found is so unorthodox, so I have not seen anybody with this jump shot, but it is cash. Like, it's straight money, it's straight green. So I appreciate you watching the video. Thank you for clicking on the video. If you're here, please hit that like button. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know down below in the comment section what you want to see next, what you want personally. If you want a jump shot video, a defensive tip video, this and that, a build video. I might come out with some build videos, tips and trick stuff. That's what I'm on right now. So I appreciate you being here. It's been your boy Excellence. Peace.